Welcome to the weekly Team Rise and Grind meeting, video call, team call, whatever you want to call it. Starting with recognitions, going out to Kaylee, who is kicking everyone's butts this month, including mine at Success Club 8 with 672 personal volume, followed directly by Kel with 4 points and 110 volume. And then shortly followed by Elise, who's a new coach with Success Club 1 and 180 PV, which is amazing as a new coach. Congratulations to you three. Moving on to today's topics. As you guys know, a lot of these calls that I do, they always come based on what I'm personally going through, what I've been through, my experiences, etc. And there's just a few things that I wanted to touch base with based on my own experiences lately. So the typical story, everyone comes off of Coach Summit at the end of June on a friggin' high. It's literally impossible to go to Summit and not have some type of light bulb moment where you come back and you're just on fire. Now, I've gone to 5 of these things, I know that high eventually comes down at some point. And that happened for me about 8 weeks ago, within the 2-month range. And I've been kicking my own butt to try new stuff and to get new business stuff done and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I've been struggling with motivation and I couldn't really pinpoint what it was, but I was just caught in a rut. I've hit diamond, which was my goal a couple of years ago. I achieved time freedom, which was my goal last year, and I've been struggling since last year when I was able to quit my full-time job and do Beachbody coaching full-time, especially this last March when I stopped massage pretty much altogether. Just very part-time is what I do with it. So being my own boss now, it is way harder than you guys think. It is the dream of everyone to be a full-time coach and to work at home, right? We all want that time freedom and that financial freedom, but you have to be prepared to work harder than you ever have at any job you've had in the past. Because when you know that you have to clock in and work for somebody else, you don't have a choice. You get your butt there on time every single day, right? You do the tasks that are given to you every single day so you don't get fired. When you don't have anyone doing that for you, as far as accountability, it's so much harder to bust your own butt. And that's what I've been facing ever since March when I went all in with this thing. So a couple things. Number one, when you struggle with motivation, you have to put yourself two things. Number one, you have to remember why you started. We always hear that. It's, motivational quotes on posters and stuff like that, but you truly do have to know why you're doing this thing. If you are driven by numbers and you're driven by the financial aspect, that's going to be short-lived. You have to find that thing that, they say find the why that makes you cry, and it's totally true. You have to have your heart in this thing 100% to make it work. Or you're going to find yourself 5 years down the road and you haven't made a dime off of this. You haven't helped anybody. It all comes down to your why. So that's number one. Number two is to get re-energized, to get that fire back. Put yourself in a state of mind that you were in when you were on fire. So for myself, I've spent a lot of time this last week kind of reflecting and putting my mindset back to Summit. For me, Summit it's a light bulb moment every single year. There's something new I take out of it. And so the biggest thing I've done this last week is I took some time away from the computer. I took some time out in nature, going down to the river yesterday, and really just sat in silence and got inside my own head, which can be a scary thing to do because we have a lot of thoughts and different stuff and fears and doubts that hold us back. So when you actually just sit down in silence, for me, it's anything nature, hiking, going down to the river for a day, anything like that. So for me, I go out in nature and I almost get into a kind of a meditative state where you start to dig inside your own head and decipher, okay, here's how I'm feeling. why am I feeling like this? And when you find out why you're feeling a certain way, for me, it was self-doubt and just not being motivated to get to that next level. You're able to finally kind of tear down those walls and come back re-energized. And that's where I'm at today. So put yourself back in a state of mind that you were in, whether it be you've been to Summit and you know that high I'm talking about, you can't put it into words. There's something about Summit and being there live that it's a game changer. That's all I'm saying. So get to Summit if you are not registered. But if you have not been to Summit, you've had a point in your life where you were really motivated, whether it be with the Beachbody business or something else. You just remember how great you felt. And you almost instantly start to reflect back on those moments and get that feeling back again. I know it works for me. So I heard a great video. I can't remember this guy's name off the top of my head. I'll post a link to his YouTube channel. I don't know why I've never heard of this guy, but I freaking love him. So Brandon, his name's Brandon. I don't remember his last name. Again, I'll post it. So I stumbled upon a video. I was watching some Tony Robbins stuff, and an advertisement came up in the middle, and it was to this guy's YouTube channel. So I'm like, all right. And it said something about setting dumb goals or don't set smart goals, right? And SMART goals, we've all heard of those things by now. SMART, realistic, specific, usually smaller, measurable, attainable, etc. So I started watching this guy's video, and within the first minute, he starts talking about basically how stupid SMART goals are. And it kind of intrigued me. I'm like, okay, we've all been taught this whole SMART goal thing for a while now. Why is this guy taking a different approach? Where's his mindset at? And he starts bringing up examples of, do you think it was a smart goal for Christopher Columbus to get on that boat and go sail? Do you think it was a smart goal to try to put a man on the moon? These were not smart. They were not measurable. They were not realistic. But guess what? It's those giant visions, those giant goals, those giant dreams that make incredible life experiences happen. And from the first video, I mean, this guy has a lot of videos, and he takes a different approach in every single one. So I totally fell in love with his style, and it got me dreaming big again. And that's my kind of my first little key point I want to touch base on is just dream big. And this kind of correlates with some Eric Worre material that I've listened to. And Eric says, think of a goal, whether it be a financial goal, your challenge groups, if you want to have 10 people in there, whatever it is. Think of a goal that you want to have in your life. Now, amplify that 10 times. That's your dream big goal. Amplify it by 10 times. It's going to seem completely unrealistic. It's not going to seem like it's attainable at all. But guess what? It goes right along the quote, if you shoot for the moon or aim for the moon and you miss, you still fall amongst the stars, right? You may not reach that huge amplified 10 times goal, but if you keep striving for it, you will get further than you ever think that you've gone before. And it's totally true. I think back my own journey with this whole thing. I've been signed up. It's coming up on almost 6 years now in December or January, and it's just nuts to think how long I've actually been in this thing, because it doesn't feel like it's been almost 6 years. But I reflect back, and man, if this were 3-4 years ago, before I treated it like a business, before I saw its potential, I like to do P90X Insanity. I wasn't drinking Shakeology when it first came out because it was an expensive protein shake. And I was just doing this Beachbody gig as a hobby because it was fun to do. And if someone would have told me then, you are going to build enough income to match what you're making at a 5-star spa, and you're going to be able to quit that job. You're going to be able to work from home 7 days a week. I basically get to live a weekend lifestyle. I have 6 Saturdays and a Sunday off. That's kind of how my life is run right now. If you would have told me that 3 years ago, that would have been one of those big amplified 10 times goals. I would have just been like, off this P90X stuff? What? But it just goes to show you, find some time in your past and always remember where you came from. reflection is such a huge part of this business that a lot of people don't spend time talking about. And that's something I've been doing all week, is just reflecting on where I've come from, where I've been, the goals I have met, but even more so for every goal I've hit in my life, it's backed up by 100 goals I did not hit. I forgot who I was talking to this morning. It wasn't even a coach on our team. It was a newer coach who messaged me, and she's like, "Hey, I've been doing this thing for a year, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not selling anything. I keep feeling like I'm failing." And I said, "You know what? Success is built on the foundation of failures." And the second I said that, I had to write it down on my notepad, because you say some things where it's quote worthy, and I think that was one. And it made me think before I got on this call just now. It started making me think. It's easy to say I work for myself. I'm 100% Beachbody. It's easy to say I make X amount each week. It's easy to say I don't have a job to go to. But the biggest thing with that is it's also easy to forget all the failures. Going to fail your way to success. Success in this is not some mountain peak. It's not like you're climbing the mountain, and boom, I hit success, I'm done. It's going to be going as long as you want it to go. You're going to feel like you're failing along the way. And with each failure, you climb closer to that. All right, there we go. So, anyways, just muted myself. Pin video. There we go. Sorry. So, you have to learn to dream big. If you have been belittling yourself lately, knock it off. You're not going to do yourself any favors by not dreaming big. This is something I've been telling a couple of you on my one-on-one calls I do with people now, is there is no cap with Beachbody. There is no limit. You can go as far with this thing as you want. The only thing that limits you is yourself. And it's not just some cheesy quote. It's totally true. I've seen a cap in myself lately. I've seen a limit in myself lately. And it's simply because of the fact that I've let self-doubt and confidence issues re-enter my head. And the second they come in here, they start brewing. They get bigger and bigger and bigger until you kind of just push back away from everything, right? We all know what it's like to kind of step away from life and to just hit pause. And guys, it's so much easier to stay on track than it is to keep restarting, right? A lot of us have been in this thing for a while. Some of you have been signed up with me for 3, 4, 5 years even. You can back me up on that, right? It's so much easier to stay on fire, to keep that flame burning, than it is to constantly having to relight it, to fall off track, to get back on track, etc. So, dreaming big, guys. I challenge you, if you're watching the live call or the recording, I don't care. I challenge you to take some time today. Sit down in silence, meditate, pray, do whatever it is you need to do, but get in a mindset of reflection, where you've come from and where you want to go. I want you to reflect on that, and then I want you to start dreaming again. Think about when you're a kid. There's something, I think maybe it's the fact I'm going to have a kid now, but there's something lately I've been noticing kids. They don't have limits, right? They don't live their life the way us adults do, and it's kind of hard to put into words kind of how my mind's been working with that, because obviously when you become an adult, you have bills to pay, shit to do, all that stuff. But what I'm talking about is look at their imaginations. Look at how big they dream. Do they achieve all their dreams? Do they become the firefighters and the cops that they want to do or be? Not all the time. But guess what? They still dream about it. It absolutely amazes me to watch kids just play on a playground like that too. I mean, I'm getting my own life kind of back towards dreaming big again. and having constant visions and not getting caught up in the busy work, right? It's easy to get caught up in the daily activities of life and just being busy all the time. I challenge you to hit the brakes for a moment, whether it be a day, an hour, 10 minutes, hit the brakes on your life. Sit down, meditate, reflect on where you've been and where you want to go. Look at where you want to go and amplify that by 10 times. Dream big again. Next up with that, vision board. I've had my vision board up here since January, and it is long overdue to get a new one put up. So I'm committing to myself. I'm committing to you guys. I'm going to be getting my vision board updated this week. I'm super excited. I haven't decided if I'm going to make another one like I did up here on my wall where it's physical. I might make an internet one. There's different collage tools and stuff like that that you can use. So the awesome thing about a vision board is it's a constant reminder. I can't tell you how many times I've looked up at this board here and I see all of the things that I've accomplished that back in January I set as goals, because as of January 2014 this year, when I put all those pictures up there, I had not achieved any of them. Those were goals for this year. So it's cool to look at it now and say, wow, I did that and that and that. But guess what? Next to those, I see the things I didn't do or that I may not even make happen this year. That's okay, because at the time I dreamed big. I put it on something tangible that I'm going to see it every single day. I'm going to be reminded of it every single day, rather than trying to keep your goals up here. And guess what the human brain is great at doing? Forgetting. A month down the road, you may think, what was that really cool idea I wanted to do? I don't remember. Write it down. Put it on paper. Make something on your computer that's there as your desktop background or something. Or do what I did and just make an actual board. But create a vision board. If you have not ever done that, I challenge you to do it, because it's really going to set everything in stone that you want to do. It's awesome the first time you do a vision board and you finish it and you get a look at the whole thing and go, wow, that's going to be my life someday. It's absolutely awesome. Things to do with a vision board is they don't have to be just business related. If you have family goals, if you want that special house with the pool in the backyard, the white picket fence, if you want a certain type of car, find things that motivate you. Some people are driven more by financials and materialistic things like the cars and the house and that kind of stuff. Other people are driven more kind of based on family goals. They're based more on team growth, that kind of stuff. So make a list of what motivates you and put it up on a vision board, guys. So I'm going to be redoing mine this week. I am super excited to do that. Next up is having belief in yourself. Like I said, this is something I've struggled with my whole life. And it's when you struggle with confidence and self-doubt, I don't believe it's ever something that truly goes away. You get better at controlling it, but just like any type of addiction, like food addiction, drugs, all that kind of stuff, once you become addicted to something, right, that habit is always going to kind of be there. You just learn to control it better. It's kind of the same thing when you're dealing with emotions. You get better at controlling them. You get better at kind of steering which direction they're going to go. So believing in yourself, my little take on this is, if you struggle with believing in yourself, this is going to tie right back into dreaming big. Set goals for yourself. And the second that you catch yourself saying, oh, that's not me, I can't do that, stop. You need to give yourself a little pep talk. No one is going to be able to motivate you better than yourself, because motivation from external sources is always going to be temporary. But if you can find a way to motivate yourself from within, that's where being motivated sticks. Back to Summit. Summit is a third party. Summit is a great experience, loads of motivation, but it's an external motivation. There's some things about Summit that may internally motivate you. It may have that aha moment or light that fire. And that fire is what you take out of it and you keep going with it. But anything that's external with motivation is always going to be temporary. And when you follow only temporary motivational sources, you're always going to dip and not believe in yourself anymore. Especially when you're trying to do this whole goal setting thing. It's so difficult to set goals if you don't believe you can achieve any of them. It's easy to watch all these successful people within our business, all the top coaches. It's easy to watch them and go, oh, good for them. They have everything together. That's not me. I can't see myself up there. Why me? This is where you need to stop yourself. When you catch yourself talking like that in your head, we all do it, guys. We all do it to an extent, some more than others. But like I said, this is something that I do. I catch myself lately looking at the top 10 because last year I set a goal to be top 10. It was the first time I believed in myself enough to do it. But I find that since I came off that original high where I'm like, ooh, top 10, that's mine, I'm going to get it. Ever since I came down from that original high, that honeymoon phase, I find myself sitting here at the computer looking at my business center and going, I'm not going to hit top 10. Why would this activity in my business center be top 10 worthy? It's those moments that I stop myself and have a little pep talk. And sometimes I'm harsh on myself and I say, shut up. If it's a goal of yours, write it down, learn to believe in yourself, and you will achieve it. The second you doubt yourself is where fear takes over. It's where fear will run your entire life. So start believing in yourself. If you struggle with it, reach out to me, reach out to your sponsor, reach out to somebody. Share with them what your struggles are, why you don't believe in yourself. Get the help you need, guys. Next up is, this kind of ties right in with believing in yourself too. This is something that really, really helps me out. When I know I am a person of value, the belief in myself skyrockets. When I think nobody's listening to me, nobody will take anything out of what I have to say, that's when my motivation plummets. I don't believe in myself at that point. So when it comes to being a person of value, this means you are worth something. You have something to say that can help somebody else. It's about you getting it out there, getting your message out there, whether it be a blog post, Facebook post. But again, Facebook is temporary. When you do a great post, it's going to go down the newsfeed and get lost. So if you have a great post, put it on a blog or put it on video. That's the other thing too. So when you have the capability to see yourself as a person of value, your whole mentality will change. I can promise you this. When you start just giving information out, whether it be in the form of inspiration, motivation, or if you're giving out knowledge, that is value. That adds value to people's lives. Something as simple as sending a text message to somebody you haven't talked to in a while, a family member, a friend. Sending an encouraging text message is something of value. You are giving value to that person. That person will respond back with how much they appreciate it. And guess what? Confidence boost. You just saw yourself as a person of value. So when you truly learn to drop all the sales BS and how do I sell challenge packs, how do I sell Shakeology, when you cut all that bull crap and you just focus on what value can I add to people today, guess what? That's called attraction marketing. That's when people start to get attracted to you because they look at you and say, hey, I like this person. They're giving out great information. They're helping me stay inspired every day. That's when you start building a network. When you focus on the sales, when you focus on how do I get more people, that's when you're going to see yourself struggling more than ever. The answer to how do I get more people is you better yourself. And you add value every single day. So with that, I have in my almost 6 years as a coach tried to come up with all my own systems and to-do list and checklist and reinvent the wheel 1,000 times. And I came up with stuff, I followed it for a little bit, and then I fell off track. Okay? I struggle like that with everyone else. Beachbody seriously gives us every single tool we need to build a successful business. If you look at any of the top 10 coaches, they don't have any secret training system. They take their own version of Coach Basics and they condense it down to like 30 days or 15 days or whatever. But for the most part, they don't have any crazy, unique systems that they created themselves. So what I started doing last week, and it was a little bit of an eye-opener, was I downloaded a little thing called the Business Activity Tracker, which for those of you who are new, this is literally an activity tracker you can check off. It's basically a giant to-do list for your business. So in the past, I've created probably 10 different styles of to-do list and daily activities I can do for myself. And you know what? When I finally looked at this again last week, because I've never followed it 100% for myself. I've always glanced at it and told you guys, hey, this is a great thing. You should try it. Things happen a little bit differently when you do them for yourself first before you recommend it to someone else, right? It's like if I were to tell somebody to do TurboFire and I don't follow TurboFire. Okay? Bad advice. So again, in your business, follow your own advice before or while you're giving that advice to someone else. So, Business Activity Tracker, guys. I downloaded this last week. I sat down. I started to go through, you can, on the first one here, you can put your goals, and then you put your checks next to that. So I wrote down my goals for the week. And I was kind of doing this based on what I've been doing. I have my own little checklist version and social media and all that stuff. So I start going down here. I'm like, okay, I do this already. It's not going to be a big deal. So I start checking off and writing down my goals. And I start looking where I actually check if I did it. And it was at the end of a Tuesday. It was a Monday or a Tuesday last week. So I start looking down at these checks and I'm getting ready to check everything off because I've been so great and I've been doing it all. I start to read these and I go, okay, I didn't do that today. I did my workout. I did my Shakeology. I did not invite 2 to 5 people to the business. I did not follow up with my customers. Crap, I didn't check in with my existing customers. I didn't connect with my team. I only brought in 1 new contact, not 2 to 5. And I did not check my breaking news section in my back office. I started looking at this and go, holy crap. Every freaking to-do list I've ever created the last 6 months is right here. You want the secret to build your business? Do this list every single day. Why does it work? Because it forces you to do stuff you don't want to do. It's not fun to talk to 5 new people a day. It's not fun to try to invite somebody to the business when you don't have any belief in yourself, which ties all back to having heart. Your heart has to be in this thing, guys. This thing has to be a passion of yours. That passion has to show, because when people see that you're passionate about something, they start to question, what's that guy doing? I want in on that. So if you're not showing that you're passionate about what you do, why would anyone else be passionate about it and want to do it with you? Another little thing I'll cover real quick is being an undercover coach. These are the coaches that they're signed up with the coach account. They may do a Facebook post saying, hey guys, I'm a coach. And that's about it. I did that a lot my first couple of years. Like I said, I did this thing as a hobby, so no one really knew what I was up to. And every time I talk to people and they're like, oh, what do you do? Oh, it's just, I'm just this Beachbody thing. I'm a rep for them. I sell P90X. When you have that mentality and that attitude about what you do, that's not passionate. That's not going to draw people in to ask further, wait, what's this thing about? I like this idea. When you take that undercover coach hat off, look at all the top 10 coaches. They all came from, typically, some of them were naturally given the gift of being outgoing and an extrovert. Other people like Scotty, Scotty was an extreme introvert, but it's not about changing who you are on the core because God designed us all a certain way. It's about peeling back those layers that are tying you down and holding you down. It's about peeling those layers back and showing who you really are. So a great thing I heard is being a fanatic about what you do brings you success in whatever it is you do, right? If you are fanatic about reading books and hosting book clubs and doing that kind of stuff, guess what? You're going to see success in it. If you are a fanatic about building this business and you are a fanatic about Beachbody and people know you as the go-to person for fitness and health, you're kind of that poster child. People see success with that. So tying back to activity tracker, I've definitely made the mistake in my own business, in this team for several years. I've made the mistake of feeling like since I'm the leader, I need to get up here, especially on these calls, and tell you guys what to do, right? But guess what? My mentality is changing. I'm fully starting to understand the effects that it has when I don't do something. Because I know that what I say is not going to have an effect on anyone unless they see myself doing it. So these weekly calls I've been hosting for months, you guys may look at them as, oh yeah, our coach is great. He provides all this information. Guys, this is more of like my form of accountability for myself. I know I have your eyes watching me. It's going to help me stay on track with myself a little bit better. That's the benefit of having a team right here, right? We have a great team, a great support system. I love it. So I'm not going to sit here and say, all of you need to do your business activity trackers. I'm simply going to say, I'm going to do mine every single day. I'm going to post it inside of the group at the end of each week so you guys can see what I did or did not do. And you know what? I'm going to do everything that's on this list. I can tell you guys and yell at you and try to motivate you to do the same thing. I'm not going to. All I'm going to say is watch me and do what I do. Because for those of you that are looking at this saying, business activity tracker, I don't want to do it. All I'm going to say is, let's compare business centers a year from now. Let's see how powerful this thing truly is. You can build your business however you want to. You are an independent Beachbody coach. We're just here as a team. You can build the business however you want to. I'm going to be committing to myself to follow this thing to a T. And I'm going to post it in the group and share with it. You guys can either join me in climbing that failure to success, or you can stay being a hermit. You can stay questioning, why am I not more successful? This is all up to you guys. This comes down to making a decision right now that you deserve better. You deserve to build this business into what you want it to be. You deserve to live a life of freedom. If you don't believe you deserve that, you need to find that belief. Because God put every single person on this earth for a reason. If your reason is to help other people through their lifestyle changes, which is what we do with Beachbody. Beachbody is a third-party tool, guys. Beachbody is a vehicle to where we want to get. And we're just picking up people on the way, right? Know that you are a person of value. You were put on this earth for a reason. You need to be helping people. When you truly learn to stop being a salesman and you simply just start finding people who need help, just like Carl Deichler always talks about, you start to see the success you're looking for. I believe in myself. I believe in you guys. It's up to you to make that decision if you're going to follow that dream right there with me. So that's been Coach Chaz. Peace out, crew. I'm proud of each of you. I will see you guys later.